and welcome. So the so much talked about Edo State Governorship election has come and gone. A winner has emerged, and he is Monday Okpebolo of the All Progressives Congress, APC. He polled a total of 291,667 votes to defeat his closest rival, Aswe Ighodalo of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, who polled 247,274 votes. The Labour Party candidate Olumide Akpata came a disappointing and distant third, polling a paltry 22,763 votes. A really poor performance, if you ask me. Now, Okpebolo is currently serving as senator in the Nigerian parliament and will be sworn in as the next governor of the state. But make no mistake, the battle of this election is far from over. The courts will have the final say on who actually won the election, as the PDP has described the election as a travesty and says it will head to the court to challenge it. The PDP and their candidates say the election was heavily rigged against them, but they will have to prove their case at the Election Petition Tribunal. And I can tell you that this case will likely or surely go as far as the Supreme Court. So the legal battle is just about to begin. But pending when that happens, let's review the election and the results to see how Senator Monday Okpebolo emerged victorious in that election. We're going to take a short break now, and when we come back, I'll have some guests join me on the program to help analyze the results to enable us understand how the election actually played out and how it was won and lost. Stay with us, don't go away. Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal. How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues. Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, you're watching DEJI360, and today we're doing a review of the Edo State Gubernatorial election. Joining me on the program right now to help us understand and analyze the results, I have here sitting with me is Richard Adeyinka, who is a data expert and, of course, the founder and chief executive of Data Home and Communications Limited. Richard, thank you very much for coming on the program. And then right on the other side of the studio, we have Libros Oshoma, who is a lawyer and a political analyst. Libros, thank you very much for coming on the program. And also joining us is Nelson Ekujumi, who is a political analyst and also an observer at the Edo governorship election, of course, that just ended. Gentlemen, thank you all for coming. Now, just before we begin the analysis, let's run through some of the statistics now, or let's give you some of the breakdown now from these elections. Well, there were actually 17 candidates that took part in the election, and of course, there were 3 major front runners. The 3 of them, Aswe Ighodalo of the PDP, Monday Okpebolo of the APC, and of course, you have Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party, and there you can see their scores. Okpebolo winning it, as I said before, getting 291,667 votes. Ighodalo, of course, coming second with 247,274 votes. So Olumide Akpata not doing well at all. Honestly, if you ask me, that's not even a result to discuss. Let's look at the number of voters, registered voters now for Edo State. Well, the total number of registered voters, 2,629,025. That's the number of registered voters that took part, registered voters now for the election. But as you know, not all of them actually came out on election day. And of course, those who would have been qualified to vote in that election will be those who actually had their PVCs. And talking about the number of PVCs collected, now there you have the figures. So 2,249,780. That's the number of PVCs collected. And you have the number of PVCs that were not collected. Now, out of this number of PVCs collected, not everybody who had their PVCs would have come out for that election, because look at the number of PVCs collected, 85.57%. Now imagine if 85.57% actually came out for that election. Of course, the total outcome, the total number of people who voted in the election would surely have been different. As I said before, 17 political parties and candidates took part in the election, 16 of them female and, 16 of them actually male and 1 female. So not a good representation, but then the woman did her best, but unfortunately, she didn't go anywhere at all. So out of these 16 candidates, as I said, 3 of them were considered front runners. And then the election was fought across 18 local government areas. So Edo State has 18 local government areas. The election was fought across 18 local government areas and, of course, 3 senatorial districts. So at this point, I think I have to bring in my guest analyst now to help us understand these results. And I think I'll have to begin with Libros. Let me start with you. You are standing before the screen there. You can see the results now for Edo North. As I said, the election was fought across the 18 local government areas and 3 senatorial districts. So we're starting with Edo North today. Libros, give us your take from what you are seeing on the screen. Help us to understand how this result explains the victory of Monday Okpebolo.
Yeah, if you look at what happened in Edo North, even before the election, the bookmakers had said that this was surely going to play out because before, in 2020, Edo North, you had Philip Shaibu, who was also from Isako West, like Oshomole, in PDP, and then Oshomole in APC. You have Ogiadome, who was a former deputy governor. He was chief of staff to Goodluck Jonathan. He is also from Isako Central of the PDP in 2020. You have Chief Dan Obi from Isako Central also in PDP then. And then you have Senator Ali Mihena, who was the then senator, the seat that Oshomole took over from Isako East. Dan
Obi is still in PDP anyway.
Yes, he's still in PDP. They were all in PDP and they worked for PDP then. But Senator Ali Mihena was in APC, Isako East then. So you had these people, you have, and then you have Honorable Akpata. I think he's in the House of Rep, he's the minority whip, chief whip in, he's from Akoko Edo. And then in Owan you have Professor Julius Oheware, who was a special advisor to Obasanjo. So in
also
Edo,
in the House of Representatives.
And also in the House of Representatives currently. As at that time, in 2020, these people were in different political parties, some in APC, some in PDP. But unfortunately, because of Obaseki's high-handedness and his lack of inability to manage men and resources, you find all of them now, apart from Ogiadome, all of them, you know, even though some of them still in PDP, but all of them supporting the APC candidate. And so that's why you saw, you know, the huge margin here. Those people like Philip Shaibu that would have been able to hold his area for Obaseki or for Aswe, you know, join hands with Oshomole. And so all the votes from that area naturally went to, what do you call it? To the APC. I had expected, because in Isako West, Auchi is the headquarters of Isako West. That's where the Labour candidate running mate, Asama Kadiri SAN, is from. Is the Yerima of Auchi Sacred Kingdom. But unfortunately, he was outspent in this area. And you saw that even in the local government, Labour scored just very
paltry, 2,116 votes.
So that's what basically played out in Edo North in 2020 and then in 2014. Those are the indices that, you know, gave APC. But then if you look at also places like Akoko Edo, places like Isako West, where Oshomole is from, since Oshomole joined politics, they have never voted for any other party apart from any party of the Shomolese.
Nelson, you look at this result. Somehow you get the impression that this is where the APC won this election, Edo North. I mean, the turnout and the number of votes they got there. I think that would probably be the highest.
Yes.
Across the 3 senatorial districts.
Yes, I agree absolutely with Liberals. And again, getting to Edo as an election observer and going around, you definitely realize that unlike the news making the rounds in the media, that the election was just a 2-horse race. We already knew that there was no other third party in this election, and that is why we are not surprised.
So the election was not a 3-horse race?
It wasn't at all, because going around there, though, you see only 2 political parties, candidate posters.
No, but let's face it, the Labour Party candidate really campaigned very hard. Well, in fact, some people have said, look, were this election to be determined by, the campaign, the quality of especially the TV, the TV campaigns that they put out, that the Labour Party candidate would probably have won. But
you and I know for free that a lot of women and men in those areas don't watch the TV campaigns you talked about. They relate one-on-one majorly with the candidates or whoever is prominent in that party. And that explains why Edo North, traditionally, we expected it to go this way because of the Oshomole's factor. And like Liberals has rightly said, you talk about Philip Shaibu that would have been able to, split the votes, or whatever might have been the quarrel between him and the governor. The persecution of Philip Shaibu also gathered, sympathy for him, and him coming back to his base, the APC, also added weight to the party. So the votes that the party scored in this Edo North was not unexpected, because the people themselves, made that statement that, look, we are going wherever our son is going. And that explains why they have this huge number of votes in the Edo North compared to the PDP candidates. Okay, let's quickly look at, I'm going to come to you, Richard, but let's quickly look at the next slide now, and that this time it's Edo Central, Liberals. The 2 candidates, the 2 major candidates, if you like, that's of the APC and the PDP, are from this. They are from this senatorial district, and well, we expected that it was going to be a very tough fight. Does this result actually say that?
Yeah, if you look at the Esan traditionally had always been a PDP domain. PDP had consistently won the senatorial seats, House of Assembly seats in Esan, right from the days of Aneni. It was the current governor-elect of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebolo, that broke the chain for the first time and was able to win a seat for the APC in Esan. Igweben, for example, was created by thanks to Chief Tommy Kimi, and so is Tommy Kimi's domain. Anywhere Tommy Kimi is in, and that's where you will find the voters, just like Oshomole, will naturally gravitate there. Tommy Kimi, we all know, is still in PDP and is strongly behind Aswe Gudaru, and so that's why you saw in Igwebe. And Igwebe also is very close to Ewohimi, where Aswe is from. Aswe is from Ewohimi, and I think Ewohimi is in Esan Central, close to Uromi. So, but Esan Northwest is where the APC candidate is from. And so that's why you saw, the APC candidate is from Esan Central or so. So, and that's why you saw that's the only place.
And you look at that result, I mean, closely fought election there, no doubt. I mean,
yes, and that's why you find out that in Esan, for example, it's only 2 local governments where the PDP were able to defeat the APC were able to defeat the PDP, because, like I said, it's traditionally the PDP domain. Just like Southeast of Nigeria had consistently from 1999 voted for PDP.
But then the candidate of the APC won the senatorial election for that zone.
Yes, there were a lot of factors that played in his favor in that senatorial election, because, mind you, the senator for PDP, Senator Odia, wanted to go for a third term, and there was this unwritten agreement between all the parties that each local government should, take a term of 2, and then you rotate it. So Odia wanted to go for a third term, and the party didn't, the entire Esan constituency did not allow that. And so that was how Senator Okpebholo, who was in the APC, and also he was in PDP before then, moved into APC, and was able to garner that sympathy vote. But now, you have 2 of them, 2 candidates, both Esan. One had the support of the governor, the other one is a sitting senator with sympathy from the center. So it was definitely going to be, a very tough fight, amongst them. And mind you, now there is no one known godfather in Esan land, or like when you had an enemy that you say yes, everybody will kowtow to that godfather. So here, the only place you will say yes, come rain, come shine, it belongs to wherever the man is in Igwebe. But in other areas like Uromi,
and look at the turnout. Look at the turnout at Igwebe, quite low.
Yeah, no, Igwebe is, I think, one of the least local governments in that area. Also, it's a border local government between Edo and Delta. So it's not as big as the other local government. Esan Central, that's in Uromi, you have a large population there. The Esan West, where also that's in Ekboma, you also have a very large population in that area. And so that's where you see that Ekboma and Irua, they are both, neighboring communities. So, and then these are places where a lot of people also went home to vote. Unlike maybe the South, where the major candidate felt, okay, look, where people felt, look, it is not really the turn of the South. But in Esan, I even know people who came from abroad to participate in the election. So, but is the least, populated local senatorial zone in Edo State. Edo South is, it has about 60% of the voters. Edo North, followed by Edo North with, I think, about 20-something%. Then Esan comes last with about just 16%.
So it's not a surprise. You look at the total the votes now scored by the candidates. I'm talking about PDP and APC. The margin is not so huge.
I think quickly, what the APC did here, unlike in Edo North, because they know the 2 candidates were from the central. What the APC did was basically to say, you know what, this will be a battleground. So if the PDP scores 10, we want to score 9 or 7. Let the gap not be too much. But in Edo North, they know that there was nobody to contend with them. So just like the national election was a strategy, they also used in the national election. That for Edo North, they will open up the margin. But in Edo South and Edo Central, that they were going to match the PDP, vote for vote, money for money, ballot for ballot, and closing the gap. And then, knowing fully well that there was a flank, it's like in football, your number 7 is completely open. So they were going to take all the goals through number 7, which is Edo North for them. But in the other area, I just give them man for man. And that's why here you find out that the margin is very minimal. Even by the time we get to the next slide, which is Edo South, you also see that the margin is very minimal. But in Edo North, where the APC actually won, this only senatorial zone they won, they opened up the margin, and so it was about numbers.
There you have Edo North again. The margin is really huge.
So you look at it's almost times 2, almost times 2. But while if you look at the South Central, it is just less than. If you look, I put my math is not too good. It's two together. The two together.
To what APC got in
Edo. So yeah, exactly. So you see in Edo North, there was the gap is almost times 2
this
of what they got.
Roughly 6,000.
But here it's almost like 6,000.
6,000 votes.
Even if you that's 6,000, let's assuming that now you have taken out the 6,000 from, it is not up to the vote that came from Akoko Edo. So that's just basically it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's just take a short break now. We'll come back to continue the discussion. This time we'll be looking at Edo South. I mean, Edo South, a lot of people had their eyes fixed on Edo South because that's where you have, that's the district where the majority of the voters are. So that's what we'll be discussing next. Stay with us, don't go away.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred.
but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.